One minute's office, I saw Young Young. We loved each other at once, but she was betrothed to her guardian, Coco, a cheap tailor. And I saw that my suit was hopeless. Overwhelmed with despair, I quit the town. Judge my delight when I heard a month ago Coco had been condemned to death for flirting. I hurried back at once and hoped to find Yum Yum at liberty to marry her.
It is true, Coco was condemned to death for flirting. But at the last minute, he was deprived to the exalted rank of Lord High Executioner under the following remarkable circumstances.
I am, in point of fact, a particularly haughty and exclusive person of pre-Adamite ancestral descent. You will understand this when I tell you that I can trace my ancestry back to a protoplasmal, primordial, atomic globule. Consequently, my family pride is something inconceivable. I can't help it, I was born sneering. But I struggle hard to overcome this defect. I mortify my pride continually. When all of the great offices of state resided in a body because they were too proud to serve under an ex-tailor, did I not unhesitatingly accept all their posts at once?
And the salaries attached to them you did?
It is consequently my degrading duty to serve this upstart as First Lord of the Treasury, Lord Chief Justice, Commander-in-Chief, Lord High Admiral, Master of the Buckhounds, Groom of the Backstairs, Archbishop of Titipu, and Lord Mayor, both acting and elect, all rolled into one, and at a salary of Pooh-Bah paid for his services. I, a salaried minion, but I do it. It revolts me, but I do it.
Does you regret?
But I don't stop at that. I go and dine with middle-class people on reasonable terms. I dance at cheap suburban parties for a moderate fee. I accept refreshment at any hands, however lowly. I also retail state secrets at a very low figure. For instance, any further information about Yum Yum would come under the heading of a state secret. Another insult, and I think a light one. Young man despair, likewise go to Yum Yum the fair. You must not woo, it will not do. I'm sorry for you, you very imperfect evolutioner. This very day from school, Yum Yum Chancellor of the Exchequer, Privy Purse, or Private Secretary.
Suppose we say as a private secretary.
Speaking as your private secretary, I should say that as the city will have to pay for it, don't stint yourself. Do it well.
Exactly. As the city will have to pay for it. That is your advice.
As private secretary. Of course, you will understand that as Chancellor of the Exchequer, I am bound to see that due economy is observed.
Oh, but you just said don't stint yourself. Do it well.
As private secretary.
And now you say that the due economy must be observed?
As Chancellor of the Exchequer.
I see. Come over here where the Chancellor can't hear us. Oh. Now then, as my private secretary, or not private secretary, as what do you suggest?
Well, as your solicitor, I should have no hesitation in saying, go for it.
Thank you, I will.
If it were not, that as Lord Chief Justice, I am bound to see that the law isn't violated.
I see. Come over here where the Lord Chief Justice can't hear us. Now, as First Lord of the Treasury,
Of course, as First Lord of the Treasury, I could propose a vote that would cover all expenses. If it were not, that as leader of the opposition, I am bound to resist it tooth and nail. Or, as Paymaster General, I could so doctor the accounts so that as Lord High Auditor, I should never discover the fraud. But then, as Archbishop of Titipu, it would be my duty to denounce my dishonesty and give myself up into my own custody as First Commissioner of Police.
that's extremely awkward.
I am not saying that all these distinguished people couldn't be taken care of, but it is right to tell you that they wouldn't be sufficiently degraded in their own estimation unless they were insulted with a considerable B-R-I-B-E.
Well, I'll think about it. But look, my bride and her sister's approach, and any little compliment on your part, such as an abject grovel in characteristic Japanese attitude, would be a favor to me. I have sought you night and day for 3 weeks, and believed that your guardian was beheaded. Now I find you are to be married to him this afternoon. Alas, yes. You do not love him? Alas, no.
Modifying rapture.
I do not refuse him. Good with that. He's my guardian. And good man.
Besides, a wandering minstrel is hardly fitting for the Lord High Executioner.
But, shall I tell her? Yes, she will have to train me.
What did you prove? After all, I am no musician.
There, I was certain of it, after hearing you play.
What did you prove that there are no ones other than the son of His Majesty the Mikado?
The son of the Mikado? Oh, what's your Highness done? And why is your Highness disguised? Will your Highness promise never to do it again?
Several years ago, I had the misfortune to attract Katisha, an elderly lady in my father's court. She misconstrued my customary affability and claimed me in marriage under my father's law. My father ordered me to marry her within a week or perish ignominiously on the scaffold. That night I fled his court and disguised myself as a second trombone and joined the band in which he found me.
If your Highness please, you better not come too close. The laws against flirting are excessively severe.
But we are quite alone and no one can see us.
Still, that doesn't make it right. Flirt is capital.
It is capital.
And we must obey the law.
Deuce take the law. If it were not for the law, we would be sitting side by side. Like that.
Instead of being obliged to sit breathing sighs of unutterable love. Oh, like that.
We should be sitting with our arms around each other's waists, like that.
Yes, if it wasn't for the law.
If it wasn't for the law.
As it is, of course. We couldn't do anything of the kind.
Not for worlds.
Being engaged to Coco.
Yes, being engaged to Coco. Were you not to Coco plighted, I would say in tender tones, love won't let us be plighted, let us be each other's. I would urge all rank and station, worldly spheres are not to us, and to love and admiration I would kiss you fondly thus. I would kiss you fondly thus. Let me make it clear to you, this is what I'll never do. This, oh this, oh this, oh this, this is what I'll never, ever do. This, oh this, oh this, oh this, this is what I'll never do. We'll never do, I'll never do, we'll never do. Oh this, this. Is what we'll never,
How dare you? Am I never to be permitted to soliloquize?
Go on, don't mind me.
What are you going to do with that? Bro,
Terminate an unendurable existence.
terminate your existence? What for?
Because you are going to marry the girl I adore.
Nonsense. Are you aware that in taking your own life, you are committing a crime that which... Aha! A substitute.
What's the matter?
Are you absolutely certain resolved to die?
Absolutely
Will nothing shake your determination?
nothing.
Threats, entreaties, prayers, all useless?
All. My mind is made up.
Well, if you really mean what you say, and you are absolutely certain that you resolve to die, don't spoil yourself by committing suicide, but be beheaded handsomely at the hands of the public executioner.
I don't see how that would benefit me.
Don't, sir. You'll have a month to live, and you'll live like a fighting cock at my expense. When the day comes, there'll be a grand public ceremony. You'll be the central figure. There'll be a procession, bands, death march, bell tolling, all the girls in tears, Yum Yum distracted. When it's all over, general rejoicing and a display of fireworks in the evening. Bang! Of course, you won't see them, but they'll be there all the same.
Very well, then I'll tell you how we'll manage it. Let me marry Yum Yum tomorrow, and in a month you may behead me.
No! Be reasonable. How can I consent to you marrying her if I'm going to marry her myself?
Listen, she'll be a widow in a month, and you can marry her then.
But dear me, my position during that time can be most unpleasant.
Not half as pleasant as mine at the end of it.
But dear me. Well, I agree. It only means putting off my wedding for a month. But don't forget, you are my substitute. So, let's practice. Congratulate me, citizens. I have found a volunteer. 'Tis Nanky Poo. He yields his life with all surrender. Yum yum. And so, Nanky Poo, take her. She's yours.
Hurrah! Hurrah! Once in a month we've got to die. If Coco tells us true, 'twere empty compliment to cry. Long life to Mikado. But as 1 month you've got to live as well. Long life to you. Long life to you. Long life to you. Till may all good fortune prosper you. May you have health, may you have health and riches. May all good fortune prosper you. May you succeed in all you do. Long life to you till then.
Oh, it's civil torture.
Come, Vera. It's only for a month.
No, it's no use deluding yourself with false hopes.
What do you mean?
Oh, how my poor child. Oh, how shall I break it to her? My little bride that was to have been.
Was to have been?
You can never be mine.
Hooray! Hooray!
I have just learned that by the Mikado's law, when a married man is executed, his wife must be buried alive.
Buried alive?
Yes, buried alive. It's a most unpleasant death.
But who did you get that from?
Oh, from Pooh-Bah, my solicitor.
But he may be mistaken.
So I thought. So I consulted the Lord Chief Justice, the First Commissioner of the Police, Secretary of State for the Home Department, First Admiral of the Mayor, of the Navy. They were all of the same opinion.
I suppose my dream of happiness is at an end.
Darling, I don't know if you're selfish, and I love you with all my heart. But when I agreed to marry you, pet, I had no idea, my darling, that in a month I should have to be buried alive.
Nor I. It's the first time I've heard of it.
You see, buried alive in such a stuffy death.
I call it a beast of a death.
You see my difficulty, don't you?
Yes, and I see my own. If we marry, I doom you to a hideous death. If we don't marry Coco.
Here's how we do, if I marry you. When your time has come to perish, then the maiden whom you cherish must be slaughtered too. Here's a howdy do, here's a howdy do.
Here's a renty mess in a month or less. I must die without a wedding. Let the bitter tears of Shannon witness my distress. Here's a renty suicide.
No, can't allow you to do that.
Why not?
Why, hang it all. You're under contract to die by the hands of the public executioner in a month. If you kill yourself, what's to become of me? I'll have to be executed in your place. Now then, Lord Mayor, what is it?
The Mikado and his suite are approaching the city and will be here in 10 minutes.
Uh-oh. The Mikado is coming to see if its orders have been carried out.
At the peaks, we love the flowers that bloom in the spring. Flowers that bloom in the spring.
Yes, I do think he owes you an explanation, but I think
It is true that I said I killed many people.
yes, with most descriptive particulars.
Merely corroborative details.
Will you refrain from putting in your
verisimilitude.
It's like this. Your Majesty, when Your Majesty says let a thing be done, it's as good as done. For Your Majesty's will is law. When Your Majesty says let a gentleman be killed, the gentleman will have to be killed. Consequently, he's as good as dead. Practically, he is dead. And if he's dead, well, why not say so?
I see.